The tension in the room thickened in a way that no amount of studio lighting could soften. The audience, which had been laughing just minutes earlier, now sat in uneasy silence. Even the background music that usually filled small gaps in conversation had stopped, leaving only the sound of Zendaya's calm, steady voice and the faint hum of studio equipment. Kelly leaned forward slightly in her chair, trying to keep the tone friendly, but the edge in her question lingered in the air. "I'm not blaming you," Kelly said, her voice measured. "I'm just asking how you deal with the weight of influence. Millions of young people look up to you. Don't you think that comes with responsibility beyond acting and entertainment?" Zendaya took a breath. Not a dramatic one, just a quiet, controlled inhale that showed she was choosing composure over reaction. She glanced briefly at the audience, then back at Kelly. "I think responsibility matters," she said. "But I also think it's unfair when people expect one person to carry the weight of an entire culture. I'm human. I make choices for my life, my career, my values. I don't control how the internet twists things or how narratives get built around me." Her voice wasn't loud. It wasn't aggressive. But it was strong, grounded, confident, unshaken. The audience responded with a soft wave of applause, hesitant at first, then growing louder as people felt the honesty in her words. Kelly nodded slowly, but instead of easing the tension, she followed up with another question, one that cut closer. "Do you ever think," Kelly said carefully, "that staying silent sometimes can be just as powerful as speaking out? That not addressing certain issues sends a message too?" That's when the energy shifted again. Zendaya's eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger, but in focus. The kind of look someone gives when they feel misunderstood. "I don't stay silent," she replied. "I choose my moments. I choose my battles. And I don't perform activism for applause." A murmur rippled through the audience. Even the crew members behind the cameras exchanged glances. Zendaya continued, her voice steady but now carrying a sharper edge. "People want celebrities to speak on everything, all the time, perfectly. But when we do, it's either not enough or too much or not the right way. So I've learned that authenticity matters more than performance." Kelly shifted in her seat. "I'm not saying you should perform anything," she said quickly, sensing the shift. "I just think people look to you because they trust you." "And I respect that," Zendaya replied. "But trust doesn't mean ownership. Fans don't own my voice. The internet doesn't own my identity. The public doesn't get to decide my boundaries." The words landed heavy. The studio felt smaller, closer, more intense. The camera zoomed slightly tighter, catching every expression, every micro-movement. The set no longer felt like a friendly daytime talk show, but like a quiet courtroom where every sentence carried weight. Kelly forced a small smile, trying to pull things back. "I think people just care," she said. "That's all." Zendaya tilted her head slightly. "Caring doesn't justify pressure," she replied calmly. "And it doesn't justify turning someone into a symbol instead of a person." Silence. No music. No laughter. No applause. Just stillness. The audience could feel it now. This wasn't a misunderstanding anymore. It wasn't just an awkward moment. It was a clash of perspectives. Two strong voices. Two different views on influence, responsibility, and identity. Kelly glanced briefly toward the producers off-camera, then back to Zendaya. "I never meant to put you in a corner," she said softly. "But that's how it feels," Zendaya answered, just as softly. Her tone wasn't angry. It was disappointed. That made it worse. Because anger can be dismissed. Disappointment can't. Zendaya shifted in her chair, crossing her legs, her body language changing. More closed, more guarded. She was no longer relaxed. No longer casual. She was alert now. Controlled. Present. "I came here to talk about my work," she said. "My projects. My growth. My journey. Not to be put on trial for being visible." The audience reacted again, this time with louder applause. Kelly raised her hand slightly, trying to calm the room. Okay, she said, half laughing nervously. "Let's take a breath." But the breath never came. Because the energy had already crossed a line. Zendaya looked around the studio, at the lights, the audience, the cameras, the set that once felt warm and now felt heavy. She exhaled slowly. "I think this conversation is going somewhere it shouldn't," she said quietly. Kelly frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" Zendaya met her eyes directly. "I mean I don't feel respected in this moment." The words were calm, clear, unshakable. The studio froze. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the audience seemed afraid to react. Kelly opened her mouth, then closed it again, searching for the right words. "That's not my intention," she said. "I believe you," Zendaya replied. "But intention doesn't erase impact." Another wave of silence washed over the room. Zendaya placed her hands on the arms of her chair, not dramatically, not angrily, just deliberately. The kind of movement that signals a decision. Her voice was soft, but firm. "I don't think this is the space for this conversation." Kelly's eyes widened slightly. "Zendaya." But Zendaya gently shook her head. "I'm not walking away from dialogue," she said. "I'm walking away from pressure disguised as conversation." She stood up. Not suddenly. Not emotionally. Just calmly. Gracefully. Powerfully. The audience gasped. Some people stood. Some clapped. Some looked shocked. Kelly stood too, instinctively. "Zendaya, wait." But Zendaya turned toward her, her expression composed, her voice still calm. "I respect you," she said. "But I respect myself more." And with that, she took a step away from the chairs, the cameras, the lights, and the stage. The studio erupted into chaos. Confused applause, shocked whispers, producers rushing, cameras struggling to adjust. And just like that, what was supposed to be a warm, friendly interview had turned into a moment that would dominate headlines, social media, and conversations everywhere. Zendaya didn't look back. She walked forward, calm, steady, unshaken, leaving behind a silent stage, a stunned host, and a room full of people who knew they had just witnessed something far bigger than a simple talk show moment.